Okay, welcome to You Can Learn Photography, and this is my first YouTube video. And today we're going to discuss how to create a calendar using the Costco Photo Center and creating our own custom borders with text. We're going to create the calendar using the Costco Photo Center, but before we go to the Costco Photo Center, we need to prepare our photos. Now, whatever editing application you're using, or the photos right out of your camera in JPEG format or from your phone, first we need to prepare them using a free program called Photoscape X, which I've provided this procedure to crop your images, resize them, create a small white border, and then a full color background frame. And then we can add some lines of text, save the images, and then upload them to the Costco Photo Center. So let's get started. So when you first open Photoscape X, it remembers the last directory you were at. Now what you can do over here is that you can maneuver using the, going through the folders here on the left-hand side. And I have a folder here called the calendar tutorial, which is the images that you see here down below. Now let's start with our first image. Let's start with our cover image first. Now the first thing we need to do is make sure that the images are of a 3:2 crop ratio. If you don't understand crop ratios, that's okay, because all you need to do here is click on the edit button and then go here to crop and then click 2:3. Take and drag your mouse up here from the left, from the bottom right to the upper left, and you can see here that that fits within the crop ratio. If it wasn't, as we move this, you see how the image crops. And this here box always maintains that specific ratio, another 3 wide and 2 high. Okay, so we're going to stretch that to the full size of our image. And here we can see that this image is already a 3:2 crop ratio. So that's good. We don't need to crop this image, so all we need to do here now is to click cancel. If we were cropping the image, we would then click crop. But for this one, we're going to click cancel because it's already a 3:2 ratio. Now the next step is to go into resize. Now with resize, all of these photos are going to be exactly the same for our template, and the height of the image is going to be 1875 pixels high. So I'm going to go down here to resize. I'm going to make sure that pixels is clicked. We're going to go under height and we're going to type in 1875. Now you'll notice that the width is 2813, which is the proper width. Okay, so now we're going to click apply, and that will resize our image, as we can see down here, to 2813 by 1875. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to put a white border around that image. We want to put a small white border. So let's go up here on the right hand side and click frame, and then under frame we'll click the third one over called borders, and here we're going to pick the fourth option over, which allows us to put a border all the way around our image. Now we can see here that we have some symbols here. Well, this first symbol here means the left, this one here means the top, this one means the right, and this one is the bottom. Okay, and we'll see how that all fits in here in a moment. We want our color to be white, so if you click on background and click on the white box, or this first box, whether it be black or white or whatever the previous color was, you come down here and click white, it's white. And then you can set the opacity, and we're going to leave the opacity at 100%, and that's where it's going to stay. Now, you notice here it says percentage, but we have an option to click pixels. So we're going to click pixels, and we're going to type in the number 6. All right, now because this lock button is on, the whole way around the image, each one of these have been made into the number 6. So this is what we want. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put another border on top of this, right? So in order to do that, we need to click the merge button. So we're going to go down here to the bottom. We're going to click on the merge button. Okay, and that's going to maintain that 6 pixel border that we already put on. Now we're going to go back into frame again. We're going to pick the same option, but according to the information that I'll be giving you in a PowerPoint slide, which will be in PDF format, it will show you the diagrams for each one of these. So now let's just go and take a quick look at that. Let's go down to our next slide, and we can see here for our cover that we have 275 on the right We have 275 on the left, 280 at the top, and 458 at the bottom. So these are the numbers we're going to use to fit our image for the cover of our calendar. So let's go back to Photoscape. And now we're going to go and we're going to type in the number, leaving the lock button on. We're going to type in 275. Now that put a 275 border all the way around our image, but remember, we want our top and our bottom to be different. So let's click the unlock button here. And now this top one here is going to be 280. Okay, and the bottom one down here is going to be 458. Okay, now we do want this color to be black, so we'll click on the first box here under background, and we'll go down and we'll pick black. So there's our black border, and now what we need to do at this point is we need to click the apply button. Okay, so now what we've got done is we've got our image. It's a 2:3 ratio image. It's been resized. We've put the white 6-pixel border all the way around, and then we've put a black border all the way around. Okay. And now our final image size is 3375 by 2625, which is the same as 8 3/4 inches by 11 1/4 to include a 1/8 inch bleed all the way around, which what the printer uses for cutting out the edge of the calendar. That way we're going to have the black will bleed all the way to the edges. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to place our text. All right. So in order to place our text, we want some consistency. Now, within Photoscape X, there's no guidelines that we can use to place text for consistency. However, we can insert a temporary line at a specific width to provide our text to be placed in the right place. So what we do here now is we click on Insert, we click on Line, and now we set our line here to a white line. It could be any color actually, just as long as we can see it. We set our line to 30 pixels. It's already set here to 30 because that's what I've used before. So we just come down here anywhere, we click with our left mouse, continue to hold our left mouse down, and you can see we're drawing a line, and there's a sort of a turquoise line that's showing up in the middle. If we move it away, the turquoise line is not there. That means it's not straight. So push it up until you see the turquoise line, and now it's straight. So you let it go, grab it with your mouse, and then tuck it till it snaps to the bottom of the image. Okay? Now we're going to go and we're going to place some text. All right? And the text we're going to place is the name of our calendar. I call my calendar Close to Home 2021. Now, in order to change that font, because I don't like that font that's there, I'm going to use a font that's also specified in the slides. And it starts with an S. And here it is, SANTUY. And the title or the size of that text is going to be 150. And we're going to make that text white because it's going to be white on black. We're also going to change the spacing of this text to a spacing of 50, which is the maximum amount. So we just changed our letter spacing here to 50. Okay. Now what we need to do here is when we take and move this text, you notice how when I move it to the left or move it to the right, it snaps in with one of those turquoise lines again, and that means it's in the center. And then when we take and push it up, it'll snap to the bottom of that line. That way we can position our text in the same place every time. Now we want another line of text because we want a title for our image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on the line and I'm going to change the line to 15 pixels. Now let's go and grab that line. Now, if something happens like that you don't want to happen, you just click the undo button down here, right? You click on the line again, make sure we've got the line, you grab the line, and you tuck the line to the bottom of the first line of text, okay? Now we're ready to place our next text line. So now our next text line, using the same font, we're going to call this Seagull at Sunset. And it's going to be in Blandford. That's a location that's close by to my home. And we'll type in 100 for the pixel size, and we're going to stretch that out to 50. Okay. All right, so now let's take our text, pick it up, bring it down, and let's snap it here to the center, and let's snap it to the bottom of the line, and we're good. Now, if you want to place a signature on here, we can still leave this line, because I like to place my signature in the middle of the line and over here to the right. So I'm using a font, which is similar, somewhat similar to my signature. So let's go and put my name in here. And let's go and change this font. It starts with an N. Let's see if I can find it. It's called Nalika Signature. And I'm going to make that 125. And I'm not going to stretch it. I'm going to leave it the way it is. So take that down. I'll place it in the middle of the line, and then I'll push it over to the right-hand side against the right line of the image. Okay. Now we can click the line, and now we can remove the line. Click the line and remove it. And now we've got our calendar title, our first line of text under our calendar name for the naming of our image. And then I've also got my signature. Now what we need to do is we now need to save this. So we'll click on Save. That's down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And then we'll click Save As, because we want to give it a different name. And we'll go to the front and we'll call this Cover. And because it's going to be the cover, I'll put a 00 in the front. We'll just use a 2-digit code for each one of the months. So 00 would be the cover, 01 would be for January for the first month, 02 would be for February the second month, etc. So now we'll just put that in our same directory and we'll click Save. Okay, so that's our first image saved. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next image, and it'll be a month. And the reason why the month is different than the cover is because the cover, the coil for the cover is going to be up here versus the coil for the month is going to be down here, because the month it will be open. So we need to have a little bit of different spacing for our calendar where the position of the picture is placed on the actual piece of paper. Okay, so let's go and pick our next image. Let's call it our January image. And let's go through the process again. Let's click on Edit. And let's click on Crop, because we need to make sure that it's a 2:3 image. And it looks like it is a 2:3 image. Okay, we can tell right away too, because it's 3600 by 2400. And that would be a 3:2 ratio. So we don't need to apply that crop, because that one is specifically already 3:2 ratio. So we'll cancel out of there, and all we need to do again with this one is resize. Make sure pixels is chosen. Our number for our height is 1875, and our width is automatically turns into 2813 because with the preserve aspect ratio checkbox is already checked, and we're going to click Apply. Now we have to go in and apply our 6-pixel frame. So we click Frame, we click Borders, we click the fourth one over. Okay, we click our link them together, and we change this to 6 pixels. We need the color to be white. We change it to white, and we click Merge. Now we're going to add our black frame. So we click Frame, Borders, fourth one over is the same. Okay, and we have 275. And then we're going to do Unlink. Now, the month is different than the cover. So let's go reference our slides to see what the number should be. So here we are back at our slides, and let's go down to the next slide, which is our calendar month for 3:2 ratio. We still see we've got 275 on the left and on the right, but it's 338 at the top and 400 at the bottom. So let's go back to Photoscape X. Let's put 338 at the top and 400 at the bottom. Now we need our color to be black, so let's go and change our color to black. Okay, and let's click Apply. All right, so now we've got our photo with our white fine line border, and then we have our black border for our frame. Okay, now we need to create our text again. So we go up and we do Insert. And we have to place a line because we want them in the same place. Let's make our line 30 pixels. Okay, and let's draw our line. Make sure the turquoise line shows up to make sure it's straight. Grab our line and tuck it. And we'll click text. We want to pick the right font. Let's go here under S. There we go. We've got the right font. Bald Eagle. And in Aspetargan, it's another place that's close by. So we make that 150 pixels. Let's stretch that out. And let's bring it down here and let's tuck it to the bottom of the line and then find the center. Okay. Now again, there's only one line on the month, so now we can delete that line. There's no signature to place here. So now we've got that month done, so we can click Save. And then we click Save As. And in front here, let's make it 01. And we call it January _ Okay, and we'll click Save. So let's do one more month, which I have a photo here that's not a 3:2 ratio, so you can see how you would treat that. So again, with this calendar, I'm going to make all my images 3:2 ratio. So I'm going to crop my images to a 3:2 ratio, then put the border and put the titles. So let's click this image, which is not currently a 16:9. And we're going to change this to a 3:2 crop ratio. So let's click Edit. Let's click Crop. And now it's a 3:2. So we're going to take this and we're going to slide that over. Now again, if this box doesn't show up, see if this box doesn't show up, you just grab the bottom right-hand corner and pull it up. Okay, and you'll get your proper ratio. All right. And I find the curl over here more interesting than here on the left. So that's why I'm picking up the crop and putting it where I want it. Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll click the crop button. That now crops it to a 3:2. And then we're going to go to resize and we're going to change our height to 1875. And you can see now our width is 2813 and we're going to click Apply. All right. Now we want to click Frame. We're going to put a 6 pixel all the way around. So we'll click our lock button. We'll change our color to white. And we'll click Merge because we want to add another frame. We'll click Frame again. Change our color to black. Change this to 275. Unlock it. The top is, remember, 338. And the bottom is 400. And now we'll click Apply. So now we're going to add our text. So again, to add text, we're going to click Insert. We're going to place our line. It's 30 pixels high. Drag it across. Make sure it's straight. Push it up against the bottom of the image. It'll snap there. Click Text. And let's say Waves Crashing. Sandy Cove. Aspetargan. Going to change that to 150. We're going to stretch it out 50, which is the maximum amount. Let's pull it down and snap it to the center. And then we'll remove the line. This particular one is for October on my calendar. So October is the 10th month. So let's number this 10. October. And we'll save that. So now we'll prepare the rest of our images. I won't bore you with that because they'll be all the same as we've just done the last 2 month ones as examples. And then we'll get ready to upload them to the Costco Photo Center to order our calendar. Okay, now that we've created our images for our calendar with our custom borders and custom text, and remember, while you're creating your borders and your text, make sure that you get the numbers right for your borders, and then also check your spelling. Nothing worse than getting your images all uploaded, doing your final check on your calendar, and then you have to go back and fix and re-upload an image. So the time to spell check your text is while you're putting your text in before you save your image, okay? So once you log into the Costco Photo Center, you do require a membership, and it's probably one of the better calendar creation applications or web applications out there that comes at a reasonable price. You can do this also with Vistaprint if you do not have a Costco membership, but at Vistaprint, the cost of the calendars, the regular price cost of the calendars is about 3 times the amount at the Costco Photo Center. Now, once you log into the Costco Photo Center, you're going to click Sign In, and you're going to sign in with your username and password, okay? Once you've signed in, this is the screen you'll see. So go to My Photos, and in there you'll see some current albums. Now, as you can see, I've already uploaded the files and in order to save time for this particular tutorial. So I want to show you how you would upload your photos anyway. So let's just show you what that process looks like. You would go and click Upload Photos and click here Upload Photos from my computer. And then you click on Select Photos. And then you need to navigate to where you've saved your images with your borders and text on them. So I just tucked them in a separate directory. So I click on the first one, click on the last one, and look, that's 13 images. I'll click Open. And then you would start the upload. Now, where I've already uploaded these already, I'm not going to show that again because we'll just go back and I'll open up the album that I created when I did the upload previously. And you'll see when you click Start Upload, you'll see these bars going across, okay? And when they're all done, it will take you back to where your photos are with the album open, or the new album that you created. Now you see here, it's clicked on New Album by default, and you have an opportunity in here, if you want to, you can actually change the name of that album before you click the Start Upload button. So you can change that if you want or not, just as long as you remember what that name is, okay? So let's cancel back out of there by clicking on My Photos. And if we would have started the upload and the upload finished, you would actually see a screen like this when the upload gets finished, okay? Right, so now you also notice that I have some other images in here. And these other images in here are for moon phases. Now there is no automatic moon phase inserts for the calendar on the Costco Photo Center web application, but you can insert custom information and customer dates. So it's a matter of going to a website and finding out when the moon phases are in your particular area. Now that website would be www.timeanddate.com/moon/phases. You would go and type in your location. For me, it would be Halifax, Nova Scotia. So I'll click on that. And then here are the moon phases, okay? So when you're creating your calendar, you will see there it is for the current year. And these are the dates, okay? And you can see the symbols. So there's your first quarter with the moon exposed on the right-hand side, your third quarter with the moon exposed on the left-hand side, and your new moon when it's completely dark, and your full moon when it's completely lit, okay? So you would take this information while you're filling out your calendar and insert your information. Now I'll show you how to insert those. We won't do them all, but I'll show you how to insert an event, okay? And we'll see here, first off, let's say March 28th is the full moon. So we'll just show you how we would insert that one when we're doing our calendar. So let's go back and we see I've uploaded these moon phases. Now these images will be available to you. I'll provide you with a link to a Google Drive folder, and in that Google Drive folder you'll have these images that you'll be able to use. Notice there's some with text And also notice there's some without text. And the reason is if you have an event with a holiday already, then the text will clash with the holiday. So what you'll be able to do is use the image instead and then type in the event name manually if you like, or just decide, maybe you want to just decide to use the images without the text. So you have both there. Okay? All right, so let's now go and click on calendars. We're going to pick the standard 8.5 by 11 calendar. We're going to click English in my case. Now, before you can continue, you have to click a starting month. And they will not let you start at a month prior to where you are. So I'm going to create mine for the March. So this will go from March 2021 through to March 2022. So I'll click on that, and then you'll see after a few seconds the continue button will be available. So now the continue button's available. I'll click on that. Now here you get an opportunity to pick what kind of calendar you want to do, all right? And there's various different types. So if you didn't want to create custom borders, you can actually put your images up here and just throw them in the calendar with these pre-made borders. But the problem is the openings in the frames are typically closer to a 4:3 ratio than they are a 3:2 ratio. And I like using a 3:2 ratio because a lot of my images are landscape images and or wildlife images, and I prefer to get as much of my image in the frame as I can. If you're doing these just for portraits, a 4:3 type size would be just fine. So again, we've chosen to create our images with a custom border and custom text. Okay, so I'm going to select this one here with the black border, and we'll change it to a whole blank page here in a moment. So let's click select. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be placed with whether to include the holidays or not. So I'm going to continue with the holidays already checked. Okay, and I'm going to click my album, which has calendar with the borders. And all we need to do here right now is first click on the cover. You see that's outlined now in turquoise. So we're going to go and we're going to put our cover image in. So what I need to do is just click on the cover and it automatically shows up there. Okay? So there's our cover image. Our next one is going to be for March. And the March one is going to be the lobster claw. You can see this is automatically selecting, so all I have to do is click the right image. Okay, April is going to be flowers, which is going to be this one. May is the garden by the lake. June is the snowshoe hare. July is the osprey. August are the windows. September is a willet. October is our wave. November is the beach. December is a reflection. January is the eagle. And February is the trees. Okay, so now we've got our images in each respective month. So now we're just going to click Create Now. So you'll see a few tabs down here. You see photos, layouts, and backgrounds. Okay, you notice here that the border is bigger than we initially thought. Well, the border is bigger is because we chose the calendar theme or template, and that template had a border. We really need now to change that template to be without a border. So we're just using our border that we created. So we have to go under layout here. And once we're under layout, we see that we have a blank page here. We click this, we drag it and we drop it. And then you'll see that that changes, okay? So now let's go to our next month. Okay, let's drag and drop our layout. go to our next month, drag and drop our layout. Drag and drop our layout. So let's do this for each month. Okay, so that's all of our months looked after. We can click up here. Okay, now let's go to March. Now we talked about inserting events into our calendar and by putting the moon phases in. So if we click on our view here, this is the full view. We've got the top view, which is just the picture. Then we've got the bottom view, okay, which is the calendar. All right, so let's just go back to our web tab on moon phases, and we come in here at March. We see March 28th was the full moon. Okay, so let's just go back to photos, click on photos, and we can see here we want the full moon, and we can put a text in without the text. And let's go to the 28th. We single click on the 28th. You see that's Palm Sunday, right? So we just take and grab our full moon, and we take and grab it, and we throw that up in there. And now we can see that the full moon is in our date. Okay, so now we just go back now to full view or even bottom view again, and now we can see our moon in the calendar. Okay, so if you wanted to put those moon phases in, go through that whole process and or put any other events in, you can decide to put a image in, or you can just put text in as you saw. Let's say, for example, you had a birthday on March the 10th. You could go in here and you could just go in there and type in your text. You have a selection of some different types of fonts, and you can change the size, you can change the color, the alignment, etc., and then save that, and that would be saved in there. You could also, at the same time, drag and drop an image onto that calendar date as well. You just need to upload that image here and then drag it and drop it in on the date. Okay? As I'm providing these calendars to sell in general, I typically don't add any dates, any special dates except for the holidays. And you can see you can go from date to date by using the left arrow or the right arrow. Let's just go back to the bottom view, and I'm going to go back in here to the 28th, and because I don't typically include these, I'm going to click on here, and I'm going to click remove. And that just removed that photo. Okay, if I were to get rid of an event, I would have to edit that, and then I would have to click delete. Okay, and that's how you edit events on the calendar. So now we're pretty much ready to go. We've got our calendar all thrown together. And again, if you want to add your special dates or any other special holidays or special memories that you want to add into your calendar, or the moon phases, you add those before you're ready to move forward. Now, in particular, I'm ready to move forward with my calendar, so I'm going to click continue. And here it says, this is the no turning back. Verify your project. Your spelling is okay, your sizing, positioning, etc., etc. No low resolution warnings. Okay, and you're ready to move forward. So I'm going to click approve. Saves a project, and then takes you to the checkout phase. Okay, so once you're here, you just continue to do the checkout and use your credit card, fill out your ship to address, and pick the way you want it shipped. They have two ways of shipping. The one is the lower cost one is by Canada Post, and the other one is by UPS. So if you pick Canada Post, I believe it's $4.99 for one calendar for shipping. plus taxes. And then you can, if you order 2, for example, the first one would be $4.99, the second one would be $2.99 for shipping. And if you ordered 3 calendars, the first one is $4.99, the second one's $2.99, and the third one is 99 cents. If you order more than 2 calendars, of course, each calendar is 99 cents for shipping on top of your order. And you'll get an email notification telling you that they've got your order. Then you'll get an email notification telling you that it's shipped, and then you can track it and it will arrive. So the benefit here is that you can do up calendars and you can ship them to your friends directly for $4.99, which is cheaper than if you personally went to the post office to ship the calendar yourself. Also, you don't have to pay for packaging materials. Now, the few slides that I've shown you so far are part of the slide deck that I'm providing to you, as well as the moon phase images that you can download from the Google Drive folder. It'll be provided in PDF format, and you'll be able to use these materials to create your own calendars. Remember, this information is copyright, and that you can use it for yourself and to create your calendars for sale, but you cannot use the PDF information here to sell the PDF, nor can you use this PDF as part of any of your presentations or part of your website or any of your training material. You have to create your own. So there's more information in here than what I've shown you so far. There's information here on ratios, aspect ratios. There's some slides in here showing you the differences and talking about DPI and what's good print quality, and showing you relationships between 3:2, 5:4, 16:9, and then a diagram here to show you how that all fits together. I've also shown you the diagrams and the procedure if your images are 4:3 and you want to create your own borders and text. Here's the procedure. Here's the diagram for 4:3 for the cover and the month. Here's the steps for images that are 4:5. Here's the diagram for the cover, and here's the diagram for the month. If your images are 16:9, here's the procedure, and here's the diagram for 16:9 images for the cover and the month. Now, if you want to create your image without just a plain black or single colored background, and you want to put another image on top of an image, this procedure goes through the process. So you would prepare a background image, which you would use for all of your calendar cover and all of your months, and it could be another image. In the particular case I'm going to show you right now, it's a picture of the sand, which I put underneath all of my images. So first you have to prepare that background image, which you're going to use over and over, because then you're going to prepare each other of your images and save them as PNGs instead of JPEGs, so that the border can be transparent to allow your background to show through. Then you're going to open up your background and you're going to insert your PNG images on top of that background image to allow that background image to show through. And then here's what you'll end up with. Okay, so that sand image will be there as well for you to download and play with. So you can see here that the image was placed on that background. And here is the one for the month as well, as an example for the 3:2 ratio. If you want to use 4:3, 4:5, or 16:9, just use the dimensions from the previous slides. Okay, so hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial today, and if you like it, give me the thumbs up.